Hello and welcome. I am very excited about this episode of running every instance at level because I have finally managed to solo Kalin Shrine. This has been a long time coming, but I finally managed it and I can do it pretty consistently. So, real quick before I head in there, I want to show I do have one item upgrade that I've gotten. This is the level 50 hammer that drops off of the Minotaur bosses that I slew in my last video. So I got one of those OD, I tiered it up, put a couple runes in it, plus sixed it, and it's a little bit better than the sword that I used to use. So it's pretty awesome. It's one of the best weapons I can get for my knight. All right, let's go ahead and head on in. All right. At this, one of the things about this instance that's pretty annoying is that you basically have to run through a ton of mobs. Like half the instance is just mobs before you get to the first boss. Um, and so one of the things I've figured out is that I can basically just run past all of these mobs at the beginning. Ooh, look, I just got a card. Huh. That's the only other card I've gotten in here already. That's pretty funny. Um, anyway, as I was saying, I can basically run past all of these mobs without dying, and only a few of them at the end will continue to follow me all the way to the first boss, and then I can just kill all of them. And these guys do not. I guess they are slow, or it takes them too long to catch up and attack me. Because like these guys always like do their power buildup, so they're doing that, and then by the time it goes off, I'm out of range. And then I think the little caster ghost things, they uh, they are using ranged attacks, so you don't have to worry about an issue where they are hitting you and slowing your attack speed because they're attacking you from behind or anything like that. I will explain a little bit because if you are coming in here with a group, or if you're not as tanky as me, hold on, I'm gonna sneeze. Okay, maybe not. Ugh. Whew. Anyway, if you're coming in here with a group or something, you're gonna want to kill these. So basically, these guys have a stun. It's like maybe 4 or 5 seconds. It's not that long, but it is just kind of annoying. The ghost things have this curse that they put on you that drains you 40 hit points every 2 seconds, and it also stacks. But stacks increase the damage by 40 each stack, each additional stack over one. So. Yeah, see, they're all going to use their stun real quick, and then basically they're not going to use it for a while, so I'm okay. It's also much faster to kill them with AoE, so this is actually way more efficient. Otherwise, I would have spent like half an hour just killing everything getting up to here. I didn't need to burn all my defensive buffs, but kind of just helped because I don't want to die when all these things are on me, just in case like something happened where I did get stun locked or something. But I've never really had any problems killing all of these guys. If you do come in here with a pet, you might want to be careful because sometimes your pet might get attacked by him. I've not had that problem in the first half, but later on you might have that issue. So make sure that your pet is still. In fact, my pet's probably running after me from somewhere, but I know it's still up because my HP is still high. So here's the first boss. The way this works is it's pretty much tank and spank. He's not too much of a threat to me because I've got 43k physical defense, and that's not even using my food buffs. So he's not much of a threat for me. But what he would normally do if you're in here with another party and you don't have a good tank or whatever, you don't have a lot of defense, he has an ability that always targets the person who is furthest away from him. So you want to make sure that your tank is attacking him, but everybody else is standing closer to him than the tank. So probably even standing in that little red circle. That's the way we used to do it back in the day. That way, whenever he does use that ability, it always hits the tank. Otherwise, if the healer is trying to stand back here and heal, the healer will get hit by it, and then next thing you know, the healer's dead, and then everybody else dies because the healer can't heal. That's the main thing. He has some other abilities, but I'm not really worried about any of that. I just sort of figured I'd explain in case you're trying to come in here for the first time or whatever. You got lower stats than me. You're going to want to know what you're dealing with. I've also seen some people where they have one person who's like a scout or something, and they're sort of kite tanking. Come in here as a scout. Maybe you are a scout priest or a scout druid, and you can heal yourself. Or maybe you have a healer who's with you. Believe it or not, people were actually able to solo this back in the day as well. The only reason I was able to actually figure out how to solve the more troublesome bosses in here, there's a couple of them, is because people back in the day were able to solo it, and they made some videos, and I was able to sort of examine how they managed to do it, learn from their strategies, and follow suit. I guess I should eat my little fish here. Not that it really matters too much. As you see, I'm not really taking much damage from him. Yeah, he does have a stun as well. His abilities that he charges up, you should be able to interrupt them if they're going to be a problem for you. If you look at the chat, you'll see that he increases his attack strength periodically. I believe that's what this is, the steel reinforcement. And then scanning long range target and attack, that's the ability I was talking about where he attacks the person who's furthest away. Alright, nothing really good this time. This guy does drop, let's see, I'll show real quick. He drops the Lion Face Round Shield, which is one of the best level 50 shields that you can get. It's the only one that has a ghost stat. The only reason I like my shield better is because it's part of a set, so I get some stamina and HP from it. But this shield is also incredibly good. The base stats are the same. This ring is basically useless unless you get a clean one and you want to use the stat. And then the hammer is also good for a stat, but if you really do use two-handed hammers, maybe you're a champion or something, it's actually quite good. So, this next section here, these rune destroyers and rune patrollers, they do not do the same thing as these guys where they charge up an attack and then you get away from them. So they can catch you and slow you down. So I would not really recommend running past them all. But if you are a knight priest like me, there's a few different skills you can use to be able to actually run past them all. One thing, keep moving at all costs. If you get to a situation where there's like 5 of them on you and they're landing slows, they are going to catch up with you and they're going to mob you. In that case, stop, kill everything, don't keep running because you will die. But if you do manage to keep moving and you get a few of them on you and you're worried they're going to start hitting you and slowing you, Use Holy Aura to gain immunity. Holy Shield. Those two in combination of one after another, that can give you 10 seconds of immunity. You can also use Shackles of Light. It's useless in almost any other situation, but in a situation like this, you use that and that will stop them moving and you can continue to get out of their range. And as long as you stay out of their range, they will not be able to hurt you. All right. So I'm going to try and run past them. But normally I would fight. I would recommend to most people to fight them, but I'm going to try and run past them. These guys also do drop some blue boots, shoulders, and helmets, both in leather and chain, that are actually pretty good. I'm even using the chain gloves currently. Okay, I'm going to pay attention here. Alright, see? They are starting to get on me. Oop. Okay, shackles. Oh gosh. This is risky. Oh shoot, now I'm dead. I'm dead. Okay, one other trick. I can use charge to get a speed boost. But I'm going to wait until I get to these guys over here. These newts. Charge. There we go. Now, they are still going to... Oops. No, 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 no. I was just trying to turn around. But yeah, you can definitely see they are still following me. But they will only follow to about this room, and then they all turn around. So, if you get this far, you are in the clear. Get to the top of these stairs. Stop, heal up. Before I proceed, I will turn back here because... Oops. This guy decided he wants to play. Never mind, he's immune. Okay. Oh, shoot. Alright, alright. I guess I'm going to kill some salamanders. Oh, shoot. Man, if I guess I attack one. This has not happened before. Normally I don't turn around, I just keep going. So these guys... I'm probably going to have to kill these newts and stuff too, but... Use my defense buffs. They're not immune, so I guess, yeah. That was kind of a weird anomaly. Normally, they will not follow you. But I think because I turned around and I tried to go back, he hadn't quite gone back out of range. Yeah. Oh well. At least I didn't die. Because then I would have basically wasted even more time than I wasted here by having to stop and kill them all. Right. Normally I would also run past these salamanders too, but I guess I don't have to now. In a way, they are actually kind of more threatening. The salamanders and those rune protectors and guardians and whatever they're called actually deal a significant amount of damage. So you get too many of those on you, and there's a good chance they will kill you, unlike the big guys with the hammers from the first half of the instance. But anyway, what I wanted to show is this big room here. This is the second boss. Kalin. Everyone just calls him the turtle boss for obvious reasons. He looks like a giant turtle. I'm not going to kill this boss. This boss is skippable. It's not mandatory. But I will sort of explain really quickly how this boss works. So the reason I'm skipping it is because it's not really possible to solo. Because the way it works is you fight him. Usually you're going to want to pull him to the middle of the room because after a while, he will randomly freeze somebody in the party. That person basically gets encased in a block of ice. Somebody else, when that happens, a blue hammer will appear somewhere in the room. Somebody needs to run and grab the hammer. So you'll go over there, you'll click on it, it'll appear in your inventory. Run over to the person who is frozen, right-click on the hammer in your inventory, and it will break the ice. And then you go back to fighting him, and then he will freeze everyone except for one person. So that one person who's not frozen again has to go and get the hammer, unfreeze somebody. Those two people go unfreeze the next person, and so on until everybody is unfrozen. He'll alternate between freezing one person and freezing all but one person. Because he does the all but one person, if you do come down here with a group and you are wanting to kill the boss, make sure that you put your pets away. Because your pets are considered eligible targets for the freezing and also for the not freezing. So whenever he freezes all but one character, it might freeze everyone except a pet. And the pet obviously can't get the hammer to unfreeze you. So make sure you put your pets away, or else that might happen. And if you do get stuck and you're frozen, you can't just sit there and wait it out, because after a while he will use a huge ability that deals 122,000 damage that is basically unavoidable. So yeah, it's definitely a cool boss, but not something that is soloable unless you're a high level and you can come in and one-shot him. But if you got the DPS and you got people who know what they're doing, it's a fun boss. The only thing it drops is the chain helmet, and then it also drops the shell, recipe, and card. The card I'm going to need for my MOA weapons at some point, but I do come in here with groups sometimes, some level 50 groups, and so we can kill it. So maybe I'll get it that way, or maybe I'll find someone on the auction house that'll sell it and I'll buy it that way. And I already have the helmet OD on another character, so if I do decide to get the full chain set, which I think I do want to do, then I will just probably use an advanced spine lifter and trade it from the other character, unless I happen to get an OD one whenever I come in here sometime. But yeah, make sure, that's always a weird spot. It feels like a dead end, but yeah, you have to jump off the edge. I remember back in the day, people were like, okay, yeah, jump off the edge. It's like, no, are you crazy? Surely that's not the way forward, but it is. That's what you gotta do. You gotta jump off the edge. Probably got some salamanders and poison frogs following me. They got low health, but their poisons do a lot. If you have a druid who can do purify or whatever, it can remove the poisons. It can't remove these infections. These infections deal dark damage. The poisons, I don't know if this poison frog was going to poison me, but I guess not. The poison keys off of magic defense. So if you increase your magic defense, such as with the magic barrier buff or whatever, that will help mitigate the damage that you take from the poisons. Obviously, dark damage can also be mitigated by dark resistance, which, if you, like me, have a whole bunch of resistance because you put fearless runes in your jewelry, then that can also be beneficial to mitigate that damage. But yeah, you get enough of those poisons on you, it can be detrimental. So if you have a healer who can purify it, you can put, what I was saying before is purify or anything that removes poisons will remove the poisons, but it will not remove the infections. You kind of just have to heal through that. Anyway, up here on this bridge is the next boss. You can sort of see him swimming around down there. Lokatha. Whenever you go on the bridge, he will appear right here. You'll fight him, and what he does is periodically he will put on somebody in the party a orange debuff. It's called like egg parasites or something like that. What that does is it does ticking damage for 5% of your max HP, and it keeps ticking. It does that for I think like 15 seconds, something like that. And when it hits 0, the egg parasites will basically hatch, and a bunch of those salamanders and poison frogs will appear around the person who had the debuff on them. They will then go to the boss, and if they reach the boss before you kill them, then they will heal him and buff him. The stacking buffs will increase his damage dealt, which is really dangerous, and the healing is also dangerous because then it makes the fight last longer, so making so he keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger until eventually you can't handle him. So basically, you want to have some sort of AOE to deal with as many of those frogs and salamanders as possible, so that as few as possible of them actually reach the boss. All right. What I usually do is I do use my damage food here because it lasts longer than my other buffs, and it's really going to be helpful in ensuring that I have the DPS to kill the newts and salamanders when they appear. There's the Strange Egg Parasites debuff, and watch whenever it hits 0, they will appear around me, and then I use my AoE. It killed a couple of them, but a couple of them did reach him, and he has vigor. His damage is increased by 20%. It's 10% per stack. So, pretty nasty. He can put the debuff on pets as well, so you kind of just have to watch for when they appear that way. You can't just preemptively watch for when they debuff. Oh, I used the wrong skill, so I didn't actually... He healed that time. I didn't get the kill on him. I didn't kill the ads. Here they come. Alright, that's good. I'm actually going to use my strong stim here. That'll increase my DPS even more when these things turn up. Here we go. There we go. Got him. Anything good? I just got some chain gloves. The debuff does not go away once he dies, and it's actually kind of interesting. Even if he's already dead, if you have the debuff still on you, make sure you're healing, and they salamanders and stuff will still spawn. As you can see, when they spawn, they don't have as many hit points. They're not at full HP like they would be, like the ones up above that followed us down here. You see, whenever I use that, it killed one of them. So even mine with my buffs is not guaranteed to kill them. But if you've got like Thunderstorm or some other good AoE, maybe you're a warrior, you can use Blasting Cyclone and Whirlwind. The only AoE I've really got is Whirlwind Shield. If I wanted to, I could change my targeting and also try and like throw a Holy Strike on one of them as they are approaching the boss, but I was able to manage it anyway. There's normally a gate here. That gate does not open until that boss is dead. So if you're coming in here as a rogue and you're trying to like sneak past the boss or something, it's not going to help you because the gate will not open until that boss is dead. Once you've gotten to that boss, it's not far to get to the next one. So I'm just going to run over here and then I'll kill any of these spirit muses or whatever that follow me. Here we go. That last boss we killed can actually be dangerous. I've died on that a few times, so do not underestimate how powerful it can get if you don't kill it quickly. But this one is the hardest boss in the entire instance. Okay, this is the Goddess of Art's Disciple. The way this boss works, I'm going to try and explain this quickly so that I can do this before my Doom Banquet goes away. But the way it works is he has two abilities that he charges up. One of them is called Thorny Road, which deals... It ticks several times over the course of its duration, and each one of those deals 20% of your max HP. So basically, and I think it might be an AoE too, AoE as well. So it'll deal a ton of damage. Usually that's what kills people. You want to make sure you use a silence or a stun to interrupt it. I can use charge and shock to interrupt it. Otherwise, if I don't have those up, I can use Holy Aura or something to try and avoid the damage. But the other important thing that he does is he will periodically get this little buff that kind of looks like a priest skill or something like that. When that appears, you have to destroy a cask that is next to him. And when that happens, it will explode and it will sort of calm him down. And then you want to make sure the tank pulls him over to the next cask, so when he uses it again, you can hit the next cask, and you keep doing that, and you eventually will get him down. So interrupt, Thorny Road, break the casks when he gets that buff. If you don't break the casks when he gets that buff, if you don't break a cask next to him soon enough, he will basically frenzy. He will get really big and really nasty. I think that's basically it. He has another ability that he charges up that will paralyze you for a few seconds. So if you're really unlucky, he'll use that, and then he'll use Thorny Road, and then you'll get comboed. But that can also be interrupted, but I feel like Thorny Road is a higher priority. So yeah, here goes. I'm gonna eat my food. Buff up. He usually uses Thorny Road at the beginning, so charge is going to interrupt that. There it is. Boom. Okay. Okay, see, there's the stun. It makes me fall asleep. And then here's this. It's called Heroic Blessing. You want to break a cask when that appears. And then you'll get this yellow message that says that the alcohol calms him down. And then, of course, I pulled him to the next cask so that I'm ready to break it. Mind Spirit, again, is going to make me fall asleep. Thorny Road. I interrupted it with my shock. There's Heroic Blessing. I'm going to break a cask. Pull him to the next one. And make sure I'm trying to stay healed the whole time. Oh, Thorny Road. There we go. Pop a couple defense buffs. Cask. I'm asleep. There we go. I got him. It's okay. Shock. Okay. Mage Silence also works. This is the boss that I had to learn by watching a video of a priest mage who did this back in the day. So thanks to that person, whoever made that video. Without that, I wouldn't have been able to figure this out. Oh, shoot. You see how low I got there? I think I got hit by the Thorny Road. There we go. Whoo, that was a close one. Just got this. I don't think I showed what the last boss drops, Lokatha. He drops the mage boots, the healer hood, and then the chain body and boots. Each of them a 1 in 9 chance. There are some other things, like the belts and stuff that drop in here. The blue belts are actually the best level 50 belts that you can get at this level, so I'm after those as well. The dagger is actually pretty bad. Jewelry is basically useless if you've got these quest sets that are way better, in my opinion. But yeah, I actually want to get all the sets, because even though I don't run Mage and Warrior often, mostly that's because I don't have gear. So if I get those sets OD, I think I will stat them up. Because whenever I run Treasure Trove at some point, I'm probably going to have to run as a Mage Priest, so that I can remove the curses in there. Otherwise, it's not possible to solo. So I'm going to need to stat up some mage gear at some point. And I think this is basically the best level 50 mage set that you can get at this level. I'm not sure about the set that drops in Treasure Trove. I know there's some sets that drop in there. The set out of Clops, I've only got a couple pieces from it. It is way rarer. Oh, I forgot to show what drops at the last boss fight. I'll do that in just a sec after I clear these guys. Alright. Oops. No. Alright. So, after this is the one we just killed. Also has some. Oh, it looks like I already have that card. It also has a trophy, which is pretty cool. This is also the best plate belt you can get. I've gotten this hammer a couple times, the hammer of cask smiting. That's kind of funny because you have to break the casks during the boss fight. This is the best healer staff that you can get at level 50. And then you've got the mage legs and the priest hood. The healer hood. Priest or druid, really. The healer set is kind of what I initially really wanted because I used to run priest warrior so much. And that was basically the best cloth set that I could get for priest, just because the extra healing point increase is nice to have, but yeah. I don't really run priest warrior as much anymore, just because I figured out that knight priest is way better for soloing, and also because I just happened to get a bunch of OD plate, and I'm like, well, I guess I'll stat this up. So some of it is just whatever gear you get, you know. If I end up getting the full chain set out of here before I get like cloth, then maybe I'll start running warrior more. I don't know. I do have some ideas of stuff I'd like to run as warrior. But yeah, this boss, all she does is she puts the same stacking debuff on you as the mobs do. She fears you periodically, as you can tell. And she gives these debuffs. This one decreases your damage. The Lament of Dejection decreases your damage by 5% per stack. And then there's also Kiss of the Blood Clot, which reduces the healing that you receive by 10% per stack. Neither one of them are detrimental unless you spend forever trying to kill her and you get enough of them on you where you're reduced to uselessness. That's not really an issue with her. Those are basically kind of like a foreshadowing of the abilities that the mobs in Treasure Trove have. They basically have the same debuffs, except it's the mobs, so they can really stack up fast if you do not have a curse removal. I believe those debuffs can be removed by priest or druid who has the ability to remove curses. Oh, and then before I go in there, I will show really quickly what she drops. Of course, her card. She drops the mage gloves and the healer gloves. I actually have these ones OD already. And then also this crossbow is actually not too bad. I got that earlier. Some accessories. Cloth shoulders are okay. It's kind of hard to find some good cloth shoulders. Yeah, that's basically it. Alright, so this final boss, it's not too difficult. You basically tank and spank. He, at 75% health, he will go up on that little pedestal behind him, and he will spawn on either side here Over here, he'll spawn the first boss, the Iron Rune Warrior guy that we fought down here. And then he will spawn over here, Encia. Those two bosses will spawn. It's sort of a lesser form of them than we already killed. And usually I'll come up here, I'll kill Encia first because her debuffs are more detrimental than anything that the Iron Warrior does. But you'll have to kill them both, and then once they are dead, you can fight the main boss again. And then what he does is at 20% health, he will spawn a ton of copies of himself that deal ticking damage, and they can also stun you. So it can be pretty terrible, but basically just make sure you're at full HP before that starts. If you've got a healer, make sure they're like spamming heals on people. The stun will sort of limit your healing abilities, but it'll basically limit your ability to do hardly anything. But if you spam your abilities, eventually some of them will get through. Sometimes this happens. I've had this happen where he will also fight along with the other two. I don't know if that's a bug or if it's just something that randomly can happen. Normally you don't have to fight all three of them at once. Normally it's just Encia and the Iron Rune Warrior, but I don't know, that's weird. But yeah, at the end, you're going to want to use defense buffs, make sure you're healing. If you don't heal at all, you probably will die during that big AoE phase. But it's pretty brief, so if you survive through it, then he'll probably have like 5 to 10% health remaining, and you'll be okay. This is not looking good for me. Okay, that's because I'm getting stunned, I think. Alright, she's dead. I'm not sure what happens if I just focus the boss here. Normally he's not supposed to be targetable. I think he probably would just fight as normal, and then I would have to deal with him and these other two. But like I said, normally he's not right there. Normally he would be over here like he's charging some ability or something. I actually don't know if that ticking damage that Encia and those muses put on you, if that can be reduced by magic defense. If it does, then it would only do it in increments of like 20 or 40, because I've experienced a similar thing in Ice Dwarf Kingdom, where there's some mobs that do ticking damage to you, and if you have high enough magic defense, you can hit breakpoints where it does reduce it, but it does so in increments. So maybe there are some breakpoints where I could have it start at a lower point. Maybe it starts at like 500 and my magic defense reduces it down to 400. I don't know. Actually, it might even be as high as 1,000 base, because my magic defense is over 10k. So that, considering what their magic attack is, that would reduce it by a little over half. I'm gonna just pull him out here because this is where you normally would fight him anyway. It just feels more natural. I'm gonna pop some buffs. I think I actually... This is probably why I was taking damage. I probably had these buffs wore off when I wasn't paying attention. I know that I took a little bit longer than normal because I was explaining stuff. And that's why my Doom's Banquet... Normally I would kill the last 3 bosses before Doom's Banquet wears off. But that's fine. I got these fish. Alright, he's about at 20%. You'll see what I mean. Here goes. Alright, see now I'm basically stunned. I can't really do anything. But I am sort of spamming my abilities. You can also use Holy Aura, and that'll protect you from a lot of it. There we go. It's over. It didn't look that bad, but I have actually died to that once because I sort of underestimated how much damage it can deal. And it is AoE, so if you're here with a party, you want to try and stay away from... I think he spawns them on top of everybody, so you basically want to try and move around and get away from them. But there we go. He's dead. And let's see. You're guaranteed to get a purple from him, so... Okay, I've got these gloves the last few times. Let's see. Oop, okay, they're clean. So I can use the stat. The Barbarian 6 stat is actually one of the best physical attack damage stats that you can get. And then you get a blue as well. Okay, this is the offhand. I've actually got this OD twice. I will show really quickly what he can drop these MOA cores that you can also get in Clops. He has a 1 in 3 drop chance of either dropping the upper body of the mage set or the rune gloves, the chain gloves or shoulders. Of course, he has a card as well. I don't think any of those are really significant. He also has a 10% drop rate of this mage staff, which is pretty good. It's got that ghost stat with magic attack on it. It's one of the best mage staffs that you can get at this level. And then I will point these out. He has a right hand and a left hand, a main hand and an offhand that are part of a set. And if you have both of them, you get a little bit of more physical attack and crit damage boost. Unfortunately, those swords are... There are several swords that are a little bit better at level 50. So if you're going to use those, it's because maybe you're playing a knight rogue, maybe even a warrior rogue, because you got enough crit that you can benefit from that crit damage. But generally, I'm not too excited by those 2 swords, unfortunately. As cool as it is for this set to be there. Yeah. I think this is one of the only sets in the game that is like a set for a main hand and offhand. That would be kind of cool if there were more things like that. There's not a lot of them. I know that there is a hammer and shield that you can get off some mobs in Aslan Valley. It's like hide here and hit with this is what they're called. But yeah. That's Kalin Shrine. That was a success. Didn't even die. I'm getting better at this as we go. Hope you found that informative. Ooh, there's one other thing. If you are running this with a party, it is way more efficient to break party to get out of here. If you're soloing, you can use your recall to go back to Obsidian Stronghold. That's what I will usually do. Or just teleport out. But there is an option to get out of here quickly. Not a lot of instances have this, but this one does. And that is, there is a little teleport here that will teleport you just to the entrance. So it's not really efficient if you're trying to vendor all your trash gear that you get, but it is a way to get out, reset the party, and start over. So yeah, there we go. Thanks for watching.